IBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California. It's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C.Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome About That Life podcast. I'm Coach C.Collins.
Coach MJ, GGT.
And we're here to talk basketball life and everything in between. No, we haven't talked to you in a while, but we're glad to be back. We're trying to make sure we try to be a little more consistent, but with everybody's schedule is getting a little tougher, right, Mark?
Yes, sir, man. busy.
No, we're busy working hard. Obviously, getting through COVID, vaccinations. June 15th, right? The state's open back up, right? We got all the masks and everything off for those who, if maybe this is your first time listening, we're based out of California, right? So if you're in Florida, you've been living like there's no pandemic, but, out here in Cali, we haven't been living that way. So, that's a good day. I think I saw a report said it was about 40-something people, or I don't want to say 40 million, because I don't know what our population in California is, but there's a lot of people with vaccinations right now. That I know. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But my mom's got hers, my grandma's got hers, so I'm happy about that. So, other than that, what's new with you, Mark?
Man, like I said, summertime, so I know just like you, kids are out, so we're busy training, and like I said, it's gonna be my first summer with the AAU thing, and
good luck with that, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So busy.
Exactly. Again. If you're just listening, this is your first time listening to the episode, we really appreciate those. Hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're checking us out on YouTube, if you're hitting us on the audio or listening to us on the audio platform, hit that follow button. We will have links to our Patreon, the Podbean website. Everything will be in the descriptions for not only the audio episodes, but the YouTube stuff. We really appreciate those who have been listening and supporting. Again, one small click for you, big help to us. So if you can do that, really appreciate it. So moving forward, a couple good things have been happening for our podcast. We ended up getting a few sponsors, so definitely want to cheer for about that one, because they've been supporting us big time, and our people have, and the show's evolving, it's growing, it's getting better, and I'm really enjoying that. And thank you for those who are allowing that to happen. First, I want to talk about our big major sponsor, Dr. Dish. Dr. Dish has decided to partner with us. They're a great program, a great tool to use for any kid at any level. If someone doesn't know what that is, it's a shooting machine. They have several versions. They have the Home, the Rebel, the All-Star. Each one comes with its own bells and whistles. Definitely suggest you check them out. It's a great product to use. I know I've used it myself. I know other clubs and gyms that have used it. The Home version is obviously the most affordable and good for any of those out there. So I definitely suggest check out Dr. Dish. On the other side, West Coast Takeover. If you're looking for Sacramento-based AAU tournaments and that are run pretty well and have really good high-level competition, I suggest check out West Coast Takeover. They're run by Demario Belk. If you need to reach out to him, you can go ahead and look him up. Look up westcoasttakeover.com and it'll pull right up. Check him out on IG. He's always doing stuff. He does stuff in Sacramento, and I know he's done stuff in Utah and other states as well. So please feel free to check him out. Last but not least, I want to talk about Hardwood Palace. If you're looking for tournaments in the Rockland area, or if you're out of town and you're looking for a pretty consistent level of play and obviously a well-run organization that's been doing this, I want to say at least 10 plus years, check out Hardwood Palace. Go ahead and look up hardwoodpalace.com. They're based out of Rockland, California. Let them know About That Life podcast sent you. Same with Dr. Dish, same with West Coast Takeover. They'll hook you up with a nice discount. Also, Hardwood Palace is really good at having very consistent schedules, very organized, good officiating, on various levels. Like, definitely go ahead and check them out. Ask for Steve Williams or Grant. They'll hook you up and help you out. Now, with all that out the way, thanks again for those who are sponsoring and helping us out. It really does help the show. And for those who've signed up for the Patreon and the Patreon, we really do appreciate you. So please keep that up. It helps me, Ty, and Mark keep trying to bring consistent and good content to you guys. But with all that being said, I want to lead into my guest. I'll give you guys her quick bio. It's really, really impressive. And after that, I'll introduce who she is. So she started off officiating at high school level, right, 2018, 2019, while still coaching at Sac City. She's an official now. But she's a ref, right? Right? She's a ref now, so we have that clear what she's currently doing. But she's done it all, so, from player to coach, all the way to officiating at the NCAA. She coached coaching at. She did this while she was coaching at Sac City. After she stepped down 2019, 2020,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
She's been officiating at both the high school and college level, and was picked to do CIF Division II NorCal final, right, in 2020? Yeah,
2019,
nice.
yeah.
2019, nice. You started at Sacramento City in 2014,
Yep.
right, and was the head coach for 5 years, stepping away in 2019. During her tenure, she turned the program around big time. In her second year, she went 22-6. And I'm, as someone who played at Sac City, I know how tough that conference and everything could be. Yeah, it is. Finished tied for second in that year, overall 8 seed, and made it to the Sweet 16 round California State playoffs, winning the first home playoff game in many years. Started the Sacramento branch of the AAU program, Top Flight Elite, in 2016, right? Helped the players develop, obviously, so the AAU side of it. We're definitely going to talk about that more. Started out at Loney Community College, right?
Yep.
There for 5 years.
Yep.
Head women's basketball coach,
Yep.
right? Says accumulated, overall win-loss record of 105-45.
Yep.
Not bad, coach. Not bad at all.
Big time.
Right? Well, 70% winning percentage. Most successful season coming in 2012 with a record of 24-6, and finished with the number 4 ranking in the state.
Nice.
Well, nice. Mike, in that one of the best seasons in Ohlone history. She won, 3 straight Coast Conferences, South Divisions championships with a conference season. Was one of the only 2 coaches in Northern California to be nominated for the Northern California Coach of the Year in 2012. Congratulations. Let's see. So let's talk about you,
Yeah, it's
right?
tough sitting here. It's
I know.
having someone talk
I
about
know.
you.
I told you. That's why it's funny when someone talk about it. Let's talk about, outside of that, born and raised in San Jose.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So Bay Area girl, right?
Yep.
Went to Santa Clara High School.
Yep.
Honor student, which is great because our kids need to hear that. We do have
Sure.
youth listeners, so they need to know that school's a little important. Starting shooting guard all 4 years.
Yep.
Got numerous awards. Okay, now California All-State team in 2000. After high school, went to San Jose City College.
Yep.
All right, nice. Got honors there, starting shooting guard, and then transferred to Southern Utah University, where you finished out your college career. And then I might have glossed over, but you got your master's, right?
I did in 2008.
Okay, well, without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Julia Allender.
Thank you.
No problem.
Welcome.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Glad you're here.
That might be, out of all our guests, one of the best resumes.
I know, right? And we've had
Okay.
some really good guys. That's
Okay.
I appreciate that.
a very impressive resume.
I appreciate it.
So let's get right into it.
Yep.
What's your overall experience like with AAU? And I mean, obviously, you can pick and pull from when you were coaching it, when you were
Sure.
starting it, as you're officiating it, playing it, like
Sure.
all the whole deal. What the good points, the bad points. Your overall perception of how it works and the evolution of it. Just give your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen it evolved. I obviously played, when I played, it was vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had one program in all of Northern California, just about. Like, you had to go to tryouts, and, there was probably 50, 60 kids, and they kept 12.
Yeah.
And there wasn't these there wasn't these other programs that just swooped up kids and like we see today, where there's hundreds of AAU programs
Every weekend there's a new
city.
program.
Yeah. So it was extremely competitive. I started actually the summer of my
Get
turn the lights off.
I know, right? That's the curtain. Yeah, sorry.
Started the summer between my freshman and sophomore
Thanks, Todd.
year. And so at that time, I played up.
Okay.
And it was an experience because I sat the bench.
Oh, wow.
And as good as I thought I was and as good as I was sitting behind a lot of high-level D1 kids. And looking back on it, I don't know if it was, should I have played or should I have sat the bench? So that's one of the takeaways. I felt like I probably should have played.
Okay.
I think getting game experience at the high level, but yet we played, Diana Taurasi back then as I aged myself. And, some really high, you walk into a gym and there's every Division I coach sitting in a high school stand. That was the first time when I went, okay, this is bigger than I ever expected it to be.
Okay.
So then from there, I played obviously my junior or the next 2 summers. And I was a D1 or bust kid because I knew I wanted to coach.
Okay.
And so that was my big thing. I thought having that on my resume was going to help me to get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, so obviously then I went to college, so I wasn't around it. And so when I came back to coach after I graduated from college, I saw how, in my opinion, bad it turned very quickly.
Right.
And bad in the fact that I just think there's a lot of unqualified coaches doing it, and I think that's where it starts.
I agree. Totally
I
agree.
think, I was thinking about this today of like, what do people do with their money, right? You have you're going to invest, you're going to give your money to an extremely qualified person. What are people doing? What are you going to do with your children?
Right.
And their futures? Because I'm sitting here telling you that I've seen kids' careers go either direction depending on what program they've chosen to play, because it's free or it's all over social media, or there's cameras following them around. So I think that's where it started to take a turn, in my opinion. And I was shocked at how it snowballed, loud gyms with coaches screaming and yelling, not a lot of teaching. And then from there, it just continued to get worse. And so that's when I decided to get involved as a coach on the AAU side. And so I started the Top Flight Elite SAC branch, had some extremely talented kids come play for me. I think 4 or 5 of them had Division I offers.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm
sorry to cut you
Sure.
off. Did you do the women's side or boys side, or did you do a little bit of both?
We had both. I didn't. I coached the boys side maybe 2 tournaments, and I went, "Oh my God, this is different."
Yeah, it's very different. It is.
They don't listen.
You are right.
I
Egos
was
definitely
like,
play a part.
Whoa. So I had some really good coaches on the boys side. But I would say, there's obviously some good AAU programs. There's obviously some good AAU programs in the area. The ones that are teaching the game correctly, the ones that understand how it's going to be played at the college level. And I'm here to tell you, having played and officiated at the college level, you don't get cursed out like you hear in AAU tournaments. You don't get degraded. They're not mother effing you. They're, and I'm shocked sometimes when I'm like, I can't believe parents let their kids play for a coach like this.
Right.
I mean, absolutely shocked. So yeah, now from the officiating standpoint, I've had good and bad experiences. I've had some really bad experiences. I've been called names where I'm like, I can't believe you just said that to me. Yeah. And you toss them.
Right.
Parents coming after you. I had 2 male coaches come after 2 female officials, and I was one of them during a game.
Wow.
But on the upside, I've had a lot of parents and a lot of coaches come up to me and find me and say, you do a really good job. Thank you. Do you do higher levels? Do you do you have aspirations of whatever?
No, that's good. At least with all the horror stories, there's a few positive out there too. So no, that's good. And in case some people are wondering out there, she's officiated some of my games.
I have.
And
you're easy to work for.
Yeah, thank you. And I know we've had a few disagreements, but I don't think anything don't think I've gone ballistic
No,
or
I
anything
mean-
like that. I've always tried. I even try a lot of times because everyone thinks I'm just fucking nuts. I try, especially when I speak to officials. I try to calm myself down because I
Sure.
know I can be caught in a moment. I say, "Can I talk to you?" Right.
Sure.
So that's what I try to do.
Sure. And I gotta, I was a hot head coach for the first 4 or 5 years. I mean, I got tossed. And it was finally when I realized I got asked to speak in front of the officials. I don't know why they chose me because I had the rep, and one of the officials said to me, "So why don't you take the test we have to take with all the rules?" And I'm like, at first I got defensive, like,
Right.
I played it, and then I'm like, wait, I've never read the rule book.
Right. I know. Right. Funny how that works.
And I shut up after that.
Well, that leads right into the next thing I wanted to ask you. I did want to ask you about your experience as an official, and like you alluded to, where we were talking about earlier with courtside and hardwood
Sure.
and, wherever else, whatever tournaments or wherever you might have officiated. Obviously, like you said, the NCAA level,
Sure.
the, JUCO levels, whatever, just your experience outside of that between the culture of AAU officiating and obviously college officiating.
Sure.
I kind of just wanted you to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, I didn't really start officiating AAU until COVID,
Okay.
right? It got me out the house.
Right.
Gave me something to do. I was like, sure, I'll work every weekend.
Cool.
And, if my viewpoint on it was like, this is the only place that I know where it's okay to be a bully, where it's an environment created where people are encouraged to bully
Yeah.
and to disrespect and to degrade.
Yeah.
I can tell you at the college level, it's nothing like that, especially as you get higher. They ask questions. Sir, do you have moments like you said? It's competitive. You want to win. You're coaching your kids hard, but they don't curse at you.
Right. I never try to cross that line of disrespect. Like
Yeah.
I might yell a point or something, but I try to catch myself and then I go, hey, that's my fault for yelling.
For
Just
sure.
want to talk to you about this. But I never, me personally, and that's all one person I can speak on. I never try to attack
Yeah.
an official or anything like that.
Well, I can guarantee you in an AAU game, we're missing calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
there's no question with two people. You got a lot to look
Right.
at, and hey, we try to get what we can, get the obvious stuff, keep the game under control, and then you have officials at hardwood and courtside who I'm trying to get a lot of my former players to start officiating,
Yeah.
and so they're new, right, and we don't allow that. We don't allow for beginners to evolve, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, I've had experiences at both of the gyms that you alluded to that
Yeah.
aren't great. And they're typically from,
Go ahead, say it. Trust me, you on the right show. You don't have to drop names.
they're from coaches who don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
I mean, seriously and honestly, even what they're running and they're telling their kids to do, having coached and played,
Mm-hmm.
you just go, like, and then they say something to you. I'm like, who are you, who do you, are you
Shots fired,
talking
coach.
to? For sure.
No,
And I think coaches need to realize, I don't know, the AAU stuff, I try to just, let it roll off my shoulders until you disrespect me. Because I'm not going to, for $25 an hour,
yeah. It's not, no. It's
I'm
worth
not,
it. It's not okay.
that's like the least I what I charge to train kids
Yeah.
is 4 times that much
Right,
in
right.
an hour. And what I make in my other job, so.
And you're talking to two trainers right here.
Right.
So trust
It's
me.
like, you don't, not me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but again, as you work higher levels, obviously the game's cleaner, so it's easier to officiate. There's you're working 3-person, so it's a lot easier to see. Coaches ask questions, and they ask educated questions, intelligent questions, like, hey, what did they do wrong, or I thought this, or
Right.
and so you're like, yeah, okay, I'll take a better look. Or you can let them know, that's not what I saw, this is what I saw. And they're just easier to work for.
Cool.
Make it more enjoyable.
You taking notes, Mark? Because I know he's new to the coaching
I've
world.
worked
So,
his games.
so-
Really?
Yeah, at courtside. I worked a couple of them.
So I want him to learn and take all the notes. He's a rookie
I'm
coach.
new
so.
to all the AAU stuff.
Yeah, you know, you're going to get officials out there that probably don't know the rules. But at the same time, I don't think it's a place to mother F them
Yeah.
and call me a B. And, I just was like,
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm glad you're talking about all this because this is the part of the reason why I created the show because I want people to hear this side of. Of course, you can go on the top tier shows like All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and those guys, and of course that's the top 1%. You get all the beautiful stories and all the but it's like there's a path there, and people need to understand like. There's a your players and parents need to be held accountable to everything, and I want them to hear all perspectives.
Yeah, and parents, I get you love your child. I don't have children, so I can't say that I understand the love for a child. But we're not out there to harm your children.
Yeah.
We don't care who wins,
Right.
But it does not give parents a right to disrespect and then say something and you go to answer the question. I'm not talking to you, and I'm like, so you're just gonna be a coward now that you called me out,
Right.
And I was gonna just answer your question. You just go, I'm just whatever.
Nah, well, you handle it better than most, man.
Yeah, well, I had to take a little break. So like, I can't do this right now.
I wanted to talk about kind of too what we talked about the other day, and just do you think? And this is just because you've been officiating, you've been coaching long enough. Remember how? So, for those who are listening, a few episodes ago, as far as Coach's Rise Time, me and Coach Tet were sitting down talking about points of emphasis in the post. So, remember how me and you were kind of talking that one Friday? Is there anything you think officials should kind of review a little more? As
post play?
No, just period. Like just anything you could point out because there's always like a point of emphasis. They always like look at or review in a year. I'm just saying after your experience reffing, is there something you think might need to be revised a little bit or looked at? Anything you can think of?
Sure, it's hard to, when you're talking about AAU officials, and not all of them. I mean, there's some D1 men officials who are out at Hardwood.
Yeah.
There's some D2 men's officials, and I don't think coaches or parents would know the difference. And there's some officials who this is their first time officiating. So I think and I try to tell some of the assigners, like, hey, here's the NCAA video. If you have all of your officials watch this, at least we're all calling the same stuff.
Right.
But in terms of like at the college level or the high school level, I just think coaches and players need to have an understanding of what the rules are. Like freedom of movement, right? A player comes through the lane, you can't chuck them.
Right.
They have the freedom to cut. The ball handler has the freedom to not be basically touched.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where we've gotten to.
You're right.
Block charge calls, those have come a long way. And I know especially on the men's side, it was a point of emphasis of, post players trying to go through the chest of defenders. Even if the defender doesn't fall,
it's still a charge, yeah.
You can't. There's the displacement factor that we've gotten to, which if you put that in the NBA, LeBron doesn't have to score.
right.
I know we got some Laker fans, but hey.
Oh, you got two of them right here. Yes, you're absolutely right.
So, I don't know. I think the way that if it's implemented by all the officials the way where we're at, it's much more of an offensive game now. And I think that's what we want.
Okay.
So I don't know that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious your perspective.
Sure.
So you were a college coach, right? So I want you, circle back to that.
Sure.
And you're a player and official. You're to me that's a very unique perspective because you wore all three hats, right? There's we always say there's 4 jobs on the court, right? There's the player, the coach, the official, and the fan, right?
Sure.
So you got to basically be all 3, right? And of course 4 because we're all a fan of the game.
Sure.
Do you think overall wearing all 3 hats has helped you really understand the game at a high level?
For sure. I think playing absolutely helped me on the coaching side, just understanding how is the game played at the Division I level. I mean, that was my big thing as a coach when I went to recruit. Is I was recruiting kids who were borderline D1 kids.
Right.
Hey, come to me.
Right.
Let me help you make
Especially
this.
Sac City, yeah.
Yeah.
We get athletes.
Yeah,
like,
let
no
me
doubt.
help you make this happen for you. So, and then coaching, taking that on the official side is understanding strategy. You understand what to expect to come at points of games. You understand when timeouts are going to come. You understand if they're running certain offenses. You can pick up tendencies, at least for me, in players, because I just watched a ton of film all the time and would do scouts, and so okay, cool, we have this kind of kid. And then having for me, just understanding what I want to call, and not to interrupt the flow of the game and things of that nature. But I don't think that I get, at least not anymore, as much like caught off guard, like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. Because when you get caught off guard, you're like, oh, well, what just happened?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think, having, a higher level basketball IQ and in a sense of just how the game works and how it flows and different aspects to offenses. What, we talked about the elevator screen, right? Everyone in the gym's freaking yelling elevator.
We were joking about that. Yeah, we were laughing because, I feel you guys, it's so me and Coach Cole from West Coast Elite. We were joking and talking about the elevator action. You know what I'm talking about? So the Spurs run it a lot. The Warriors ran it a lot with Steph Curry. So it's like basically a guy cuts up and the two guys close the screen behind him doing that elevator action. And me and Brandon were laughing while she was officiating. So we were kind of joking about it because this one team was running it. And we were like, why is that not a moving screen? Because that's the only screen you can do where essentially like you're moving into somebody and it not be called an offensive foul. Because any other movement is a legal screen, right? So like if you're coming to get a screen and I'm moving into the guy that's a moving screen, right? But in elevator action, you can do that. So we were just kind of joking about it, laughing about it.
Why
So
is
that's
that?
it.
It's not. It's not. The thing is so you have to understand as an official, right? Your responsibility depends where you're at, but you have responsibility for a defender or your primary area. So when you have basically 3 offensive players getting ready to do one action, you have a lot to look at. You have the primary on-ball defender, you have the offensive player with the ball, you have the screeners, and you have their defenders. So it to put 2 eyes on 6 players,
That's tough.
it's tough. Unless, like, and again, game, having that experience, you go, they were moving. I mean, God, he never stopped, right? And he kept leaning, and you go,
Exactly.
sorry, right?
I mean, I guess it's like something like that would be like it's like a 50-50, right? Like if the guy's just barreling the defender over, then, right, that would probably be like an obvious, offensive foul. But if the guy maybe moves a half a second sooner and he's just there right in that split second, right? I guess it's one of those 50-50 things.
It's judgment, did it, everyone's going to have their opinion on it, but it takes more than one. It needs to be officiated by more than one official is basically what you get. And so in a 3-person game, that becomes easier. I was all the way under the basket and you're like, it looked like you moved to me, but
of
my
course.
partner's up there.
And I mean, and that's why we were joking and laughing about it, because it's just funny, because that was just one thing we kind of looking at and laughing about it. That's not called necessarily a movie. I mean, in the league, well, shit, they don't call a lot of stuff.
No, that's why you see kids go to screen, right? And they're like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, by rule, that's illegal.
Yes,
And then the
exactly.
coach is,
Right.
like, I'm
But
not even going to talk to you.
Right. But again, they emulate what they see
NBA.
on TV and the
Or
NBA. And
The 0 step, right? The
Yeah,
hard and
yeah.
side
Oh, yeah,
step.
yeah.
You're just like, that's a travel. You picked up.
Yeah, there is no, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no gather 0 step in high school, right? Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm like, because these kids be practicing that shit. I'm like,
Yes.
dude, that's not in high. That's a travel. They're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm like,
The
all
worst
right.
is when trainers are teaching it. You're
Yes. Yes. You
Like, get your
cannot-
money back.
Yeah, you can't train the zeros. If you're training an NBA player, okay, fine, so be it. Or overseas player, okay, do your thing. But please don't teach this to like 9-year-olds.
But even that, I don't know if you're familiar with who Drew Hanlon is. He's
Drew Hanlon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's a big time NBA skills trainer, and I was fortunate a few years ago to do his internship program, and so we got on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely worth it. But if you look at his curriculum and what he teaches, it's so fundamental.
Nice.
And he is, in my opinion, the top, skills trainer. Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid,
Bradley Beal,
Bradley Beal,
Jordan Clarkson,
right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
anyways.
that alludes to, in my opinion, what sets different trainers apart, and what's your philosophy like for Mark, and always correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe his philosophy is big on the mental aspect of the game.
Sure.
He really focuses on, digesting film, and can you deal with adversity? Can you, rise above, like, the mentally?
Sure.
I mean, he does the physical stuff great, but I think that's his point of emphasis. My point of emphasis is because I'm a kinesiology major, so
Sure.
mine is on body mechanics, right?
Sure,
Body
sure.
mechanics, nervous system, cardiovascular system, all that good stuff. So, but I am a strong believer in the fundamentals as the foundation
Yeah.
of everything. And some trainers do and some don't. I mean, it's each his own, right?
What kid in high school is going to have an 8-foot wide scoring space to get 8 dribbles off?
Yeah,
I
true.
mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
right.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
So, for those listening, think about those things when you're thinking about your trainers and things like that. But that's also another topic of we're going to talk about more and more when it comes to the training field
Sure.
and all that stuff too.
Sure.
So I wanted to talk about kind of just you've been helping with Coach Ted
Yeah.
and his women's run. So shout out
Yeah.
to Coach Ted.
Definitely shout out to Coach Ted.
Great brother, definitely a big advocate of women's basketball and women's open runs and women's everything, right? Which has, and he's been very successful at it. And I've always tried to help him in any way I can too. Obviously, I'm more on the men's side, but I still try to help any
Sure.
way I can. I was kind of curious, as a woman, as a former player, what do you think there needs to be kind of more access for women's runs and things like that? I mean, that's why, I came up with the idea of even for this here at the YBA facility. But, obviously we'd love to see things like that at Hardwood
Sure.
or Courtside or anything like that. I'm just curious of your opinion on it.
Absolutely. I mean, way back when I was getting into high school, every local junior college would open their doors on a weekday, whatever, and there'd be like 100 kids.
Nice.
3 courts running, and if you lost, you sat for like a half hour to get back on. But
Remember those days.
every D1 kid, like we're starting to see here, you're home for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started, I was an 8th grader, and getting that experience and that play with the higher level kids, I mean, it just was priceless.
Yeah.
Nice.
So absolutely, I mean, I tried to do that when I was at Sac City, but you get so handcuffed with gym use
Yeah.
and all that other stuff.
And it's mainly because of liability, I think, right?
Yep.
They don't want this to be liable. And to be fair, we are in California, which is clearly one of the most strictest states for everything, gun laws, liability laws, like everything.
Right.
Someone's always suing somebody, so everybody's afraid to do anything, right?
For sure.
So it is tough, but I do like what you and Coach Ted are doing.
That's all Tet. I just show up
Well.
to support him, and that's all him. And he does a great job for those kids, and he's one of the best, in my opinion, girls basketball coaches or women's basketball coaches. He understands the game the right way, and he loves those kids.
He's a recurring guest on our show. So
Yeah.
it's a splash with Coach Ted, man.
He's a savant. That's how I
Exactly.
kind of look at him.
And this was just kind of more curious. When you were
Sure.
coaching girls, when you were coaching women's basketball, did you encourage them? I mean, for you and your experience, did you play with boys when you could, and did you encourage your girls to kind of play with boys to,
Sure.
acclimate and make their game better?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I learned to play. We grew up across the street from a high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, back then you're home alone in the summers, and I had a neighbor friend, and we would go across the street and he taught me how to play basketball. Then we would go down to the park and we would just run. And you just figure things out.
Nice.
You know, and I think that's my ability to shoot and learn to score and things of that nature definitely came from that. And then even when I was in high school, I would scrimmage with the boys team, you know, just to get challenged. I found out how slow I was in comparison to them. But I think it's great for women, you know, we both know Jada Lewis, and that's how she came up playing. And I think you can see that her game is separated from a lot of the high school kids.
Yeah, no, let me get a splash for her, because she's definitely evolved her game, and I'm proud of her big time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think as long as you obviously have the physicality difference, so as long as you're not going to get injured, because, you know, males can get a little more
right,
intense and competitive, and they
especially,
don't want to be beat by a girl.
Especially y'all kicking their ass. They damn sure feel some type of way about that.
So I have a question. So do you feel, because like for me, like I train a lot of guys, but I do have a couple girls, and I'm starting to get into that and trying to understand that more. And since I have a lot of guys, you know, and I have like 4 girls that I train, and so sometimes, of course, I mix them together.
Sure.
Compared to a girl who trains, let's say an 8th grade girl who trains with boys for years, compared to a girl who doesn't train with boys, do you feel the girl who trains with the boys over the years compared to the girl who doesn't train with boys has the upper edge as time goes on with development? Or do you feel that the other girl who doesn't train with boys can still either be there with the other girl or maybe even be ahead? What do you think about that?
I think that's a tough question. I think obviously, yes, that the girl training with boys, as long as the boys are good, right? You know, in an ideal situation, that and the training's correct, and I'm not doubting your training at all. That
he sucks, don't worry.
You know, boys are innately gonna be faster. They're gonna be stronger. So you learn to do things at a higher rate with less time. Do I think a girl training with girls could get that? Sure, with the right trainer and the right setting. But I think the obvious answer, and correctly, I mean, a girl probably training with boys probably is going to have the upper edge.
Nice,
in my opinion.
So what's the end game, huh? What's the end game, Julz? Where are we going with this basketball thing? You know, 5 years from now. I know we talked about you definitely wanting to move up in the ranks for the officiating side of it, but where ideally would you like to be?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to do it all. I'm kind of one of those. I don't come in quiet. I come in loud.
Good.
You know, I got into money management, so I'm enjoying that and helping people that way. I obviously love the game. I always get drawn back to it. I love working with kids. You know, I'd love to start working with college kids, you know, when they come home. You know, I worked with Jada throughout the year, and the other kid, Brandy Huff-Hines, who was at CSUN, who played for me at Sac City.
Very cool.
And so I like to keep growing, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why I stepped down from Sac City, is it just plateaued for me, you know, and I wanted more freedom in my life and things of that nature. So I don't know. I want to be the best at where I'm at as an official, and otherwise, and where that takes me, it takes me. I'm thinking about trying to jump over to the men's side on the college level.
Very cool.
Just to get different feel for the game.
It's a nice challenge.
Yeah, and I like to be challenged.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
So moving on, we are gonna have some hot takes, right? So we're gonna talk about the media thing, right? Just want to reiterate it again. It's June 15th. Masks don't have to be worn. Seems like the state's getting the handcuffs taken off a little bit. How do we feel about that? Where we at on that?
Finally.
Right?
Finally.
I'm with it.
No, I think overall it's a good thing. I mean, California, obviously, with, you know, Governor Newsom, not going to get super political, but hey, at least now we can get a little bit of freedom and, you know, go from there. So
And I walk into stores and I'm like, do I have to wear this?
Right,
And I
exactly,
don't know.
right. Feels a little. Obviously, we still got a ways to go, but it's feeling like it's getting a little more back to normal. The only other thing I want to bring up for my own thing, my 8th grade group started their transition into high school. You've seen that group before,
yes,
so
sir.
I'm happy for them. A lot of them are going to Rockland High,
Okay.
so
I had one of their games last weekend. They're
so-
good.
yeah, if you see my freshman play, you'll see a lot of good freshman play. Or 8th grade about to be freshman, whatever. But I think they're gonna win a state title, man, in a couple years. I'm gonna say that now. I probably shouldn't,
Okay.
because it's
Speaking
never-
to existence.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking to, I think they're gonna win a state title pretty soon. But
Dope.
we'll see what happens with there. Sorry, need a little bit of water. But let's go straight to the NBA. Right, I know we got to talk about the tough one, fellas.
Yeah. it's all right.
Y'all eliminate my Warriors, so I can't be. Well, technically, y'all didn't eliminate them, but y'all started the process. So
Little play-in game.
Them Suns gotta go all the way.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But Lakers out, Warriors out. First playoffs in
10
what?
years.
10 years? Yeah,
10 years.
without LeBron or Curry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that. Well, Curry's not that old, but still. Without-
33 is he?
yeah,
Yeah.
but
34.
that's definitely starting to show a transition in the era, right? That's a huge like reflection. Like, damn, it's starting to happen.
For sure. It's injuries, bro.
Right. That's what I was gonna
It's
say.
injuries.
How you feel
It's
about this part?
injuries.
He is a
Even-
diehard
even-
Lakers fan, so I
Even
know.
for your Warriors, right? I'll give you
Klay
your
Thompson,
love.
if we had Klay Thompson,
Yes.
bro,
Yeah, no
we're a
Klay.
different team.
Wiseman.
Yeah,
We
man,
needed
Wiseman. Oh, we
Of
needed
course.
him, man.
Yeah.
And Wiseman is such a. Oh, I
Yeah,
like
I'm
that
excited
kid
for
ceiling.
him.
I
For
know,
sure.
man. It's just rough. Jules, who's your team?
I'm a Warrior fan.
See, thank you. See, good
made
job.
two.
We made it through the rough years because
Yes.
it was rough.
Right? Yeah,
It
we.
was
Oh, you
rough.
know as well as I do. It was bad. They were giving tickets away, and people were like,
My
I'm
dad
good.
my dad and my brother go to a game, nosebleeds.
Yeah.
No one in the arena. They walk up, go, "You're going to be our
Damn.
courtside
Right.
guests."
Right during the prime years after that,
Right.
yeah, right. You couldn't even get a courtside ticket unless you knew somebody. So it's
crazy.
pretty interesting seeing that transition. But yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting. Let me pull it up. Okay, so it kind of showed up on my feed while I was like just looking through Instagram and things like that on blackenterprise.com. I guess they took a poll and they said LeBron is the most hated player in the NBA, like by far. Number 2 being Kyrie Irving.
Not
By the
surprised.
players?
Huh?
By the players?
No, by fans.
Okay.
By fans. No, not by
I
that.
was like,
Right?
Talking to the mic, Ty, so we can hear you, bro.
man, okay.
Yeah, Ty's a part of the show now, y'all. So,
What's happening? What's up?
but no, yeah, I just wonder what y'all thought about why all the hate, man. I don't hate LeBron. Me personally, I don't hate him. Now again, the GOAT conversation. We've had that conversation. Don't think he's the GOAT,
Me either.
but hate him? No way. I just don't see how you could hate this
it's
guy.
the
but-
antics. It's the, the flopping.
Yes.
He's a great player. It's just the extra stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's, it's the flopping.
Right.
The leaving 5 minutes,
Yeah.
5 minutes, 6 minutes left in the game, and you
Yes.
leave to
Yeah.
go. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
it's the optics
It's
of
that
it.
stuff as a fan.
And every
Plays like
time,
an AAU player.
thank you,
Right.
foul. He's
Yeah.
running
Right,
every time.
yeah.
You just go, all right.
Yeah.
It is the optics of it. But do you think he's just a reflection of the culture of what basketball shifted into? Or is it just kind of
I
his
hope not.
personality?
I hope not. I mean,
Okay.
Steph isn't that. I mean, I don't know any other player really. Maybe I don't know who. Dwight Howard. Is he cried a lot? But he was a.
true.
He was a
That's
Laker.
true. Yeah,
It's true. It's true.
I mean, Katie's not like that.
No,
Steph's
he's
not
not.
like that.
Kawhi's not.
Kawhi
not.
definitely is not.
Kawhi
No
barely
nonsense.
talks shit.
Right?
Yeah. Giannis isn't like
Giannis.
that.
Derrick Rose, I'm always
Luka
been a
is,
fan.
though.
Yeah, Luka's. Yeah, he's a
Luka.
little prima donna. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's a personality thing, right? Maybe it's just
I
I don't know.
say so, I guess. I
No,
don't
no.
know. Kobe ain't like that.
No,
Kobe wasn't. Jordan wasn't like
Yeah,
that.
that is very
I
true.
agree.
And those again, I think those are the little things that
Sure.
enter the GOAT conversation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because of course, if we go sheer numbers, and again, That's why it's this argument it's so interpretive because, okay, you want to say sheer numbers, titles, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're talking about Bill Russell and Kareem.
Right.
I mean, those guys aren't even in the conversation. If you want to talk sheer numbers, then you're talking Wilt.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about them in the GOAT conversation. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know.
LeBron's thing is about, just from what I've just seen over the years, is going to be the longevity. Like, that's what he can't catch up to Jordan. He ain't going to catch up to Bill. I believe he's going to play until he's 40 plus. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I think next year he's going to give it to AD. I feel like that's what's going to keep him. Let me pass Kareem. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can get 1 or 2 more titles if I just stay in shape. You know what I'm saying? Jordan stopped. Kobe stopped. I think he's going to keep playing. Because, again, he's 36. Besides the ankle, he looked good at 36 compared to most 36-year-olds.
He does. He absolutely does.
So I think that's what's going to his argument. I've been doing this longer. So I think that's what he's going to use, and I can't blame him. You know, he takes care of his body.
Yeah, he's definitely. Well, I say to my athletes all the time, if you want an example of maximizing, he is an example. Because think about it, the things Jordan did, he was doing that while gambling, drinking, and smoking cigars.
3 hours of sleep.
Exactly. Now imagine if he took care of his body the way LeBron did.
Right.
Yeah.
If he had the
interested.
if he had the science, like even the cryos and all, because again they were. I mean, for the '90s, he had all the tech, but we've come so much further ahead now. Now you give Jordan access to all that and the mental discipline to take care of himself. That's a scary guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the crazy part. So I always tell my players, like, if you want an example of someone who's really like pulling it, him and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like those are the two guys you got to look at.
TB12.
Yeah, you got to look at, like, dude, if you get to that highest level and you take care of yourself the right way, these are the guys to look at.
Even though I'm a of course diehard Laker fan, I'm Kobe fan. The thing that I do take from LeBron, for me personally, you know, gonna be 34 next month, being able to train and keep up with my kids is, you know, like I said, I wake up 4:30 every morning to work out. Those are the things that I take from LeBron. Is like, okay, he's 36. Okay, I don't got millions of dollars, but it's the discipline of staying consistent, of eating right, lifting weights, working on your body. So that is one thing I'll take from him. You know what I'm saying? The crying and the flopping, I don't do that. But the way he takes care of the body and the self-discipline, like, I love that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I try to use that for myself and my lifestyle.
And I think it's very cool. I want to talk, moving on to the other teams. You look at the Suns, and obviously they look great right now. I mean, Jesus, Chris Paul. How does one player just
he's
elevate
36.
your team? I know, right?
He's 36.
He elevates the team to a whole nother level. And then obviously they just got rid of Joker, right? They swept them. I can't remember the last time an MVP got swept. Yeah, Suns at 4. Yeah, when the dude beat the hell, you saw that when he beat the hell out that stand. There was a fight in the stands, and the dude was punching the dude. And he was like, Suns in.
I
was like,
he got to stay. Security was like that.
I was like, all right, well, wait, he's right. I do want to talk a little bit about Nikola Jokic. To me, he is a very interesting MVP. Mainly for a couple of factors, and you know, I'll state my side of it and what I think. Rusty Buckets, a YouTuber I follow and podcast guy I follow, he had a really interesting take too. It's been a long time since a big, right? A big has gotten MVP. Obviously, you know, you could be from the like Nick Wright camp where you're just total dumbasses, and they're like, well, Chris Paul deserves MVP. No disrespect to Chris Paul or anything he's doing, but Jokic was by far a better player, if we're talking player, than what Chris Paul is doing. Chris Paul elevated his team, right, no doubt, but who was a better player? But I just think it was just strange with him because usually it's like usually when they pick the MVP, it just feels like, okay, yeah, this is clearly the guy. I just feel like with him, you didn't get that same feeling. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't the sexy pick.
Right, at all, right?
But if you know basketball.
But if Jamal Murray stayed healthy, he might have been a sexy pick because
that's true.
The team would have been playing at a higher caliber.
And there's kind of some interesting fun facts with him that I kind of looked up. He's the lowest he was the lowest draft pick ever to win MVP.
Yep.
Because he went in the second round.
42, I think.
Yeah, 42.
42nd pick.
Before him, I think, was Giannis, and Giannis was number 15 in the first. So he was literally the lowest. You know what I mean? There's just
Right.
like this strangeness to him being MVP. And again, I think he deserved it because he did play out his mind. But it's just just a little fun thing I wanted to throw out there. Going back to the Clippers, the other LA team, they seem like they're
Firing.
they're being who we thought they could be. You know what I mean? I don't know if Kawhi just said, I'm tired of this shit. And, they call him the Terminator, the robot, and he finally just kicked it in. I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting. Well, what do you guys think? Or who wins this?
I'm still hating. I'm a Laker fan. So if the Clippers, I'm hoping Phoenix goes all the way from the West. But I love Kawhi. I'm a big Kawhi fan. You know what I'm saying? San Diego State, 619. But it's the Clippers. Nah, we out in the Clippers. Nah, man, they looking good. We'll see. So far, Clippers got 2 at home. Utah got 2 at home. They're going back to Utah. So we going to see what's going to happen with that. But I don't know, man.
Okay.
Fuck the Clippers.
You got to pick Julz. You care. Or
I
who
like
do
to
you-
see
yeah.
Utah win.
Okay.
I went to school in Utah, but I don't know. I like Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
no
not a
doubt.
big PG fan. Not a big.
I don't think a lot of people are
Who's
PG
that other
at this
guy?
point.
The defender, Beverly.
Beverly, you're not a Beverly fan?
Man. It's like every bad AAU kid trying to do something. I'm like, I'd whack them so quick.
I like that.
That's
I like that. That's the greatest. Said every bad hey you kid. That's a good one. I like
That is a
that.
good one.
I thought this was another interesting storyline, and before we move on to everything else, was with the Mavs, with
Oh yeah.
Porzingis and Luka. More and more is coming out. They don't get along that much. You know what I mean? Mark Cuban, they talked to him. He kind of talked about it but made light of it. He said, yeah, they're just kind of different. It's going to take them time to grow. He compared it to Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry. He said those two didn't like each other at first, and it took a while to grow, and obviously they ended up winning a championship. I wonder, do you think it's more to it than that? Do you think Porzingis just feels some type of way about Luka
do.
getting all the shine?
I think it's more of just Porzingis isn't that number 2 guy. Like he's not. They're not gonna give if Luka's out the game. You're not gonna give it to Porzingis to carry the load. Like I don't think. To me, maybe he can do more. I think it's the system. I think you have to bring in another superstar for Luka in order for him to win a championship. I don't think Porzingis is that guy. Like he spots up and shoots threes.
That's
You know
basically
I'm
what
saying?
they've turned him into, right?
Yeah, that's true too. It's the coaching system, I think, but I don't. Plus, he's injury prone. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, and I think you can tell that he wants more of a role. You know what I'm saying? But it's Luka's team. So I don't know. I think it's going to be about making Luka happy.
Yeah, he's the
Instead of making
franchise.
Porzingis happy.
I mean, what is he, 22, 23?
Yeah.
Something
22,
like that. He's a
20.
young
That's
kid,
crazy,
man.
bro.
Young kid.
I think he takes way too many shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
my opinion. He just for them to win, he takes way too many shots, and
So he's what James Harden used to be on the Rockets.
there
huh?
you go. Yeah, I mean he
Pretty much.
talks a lot. He
Right.
takes a lot of shots. You just go.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
But I agree with Mark in terms of I think they need another scorer.
He needs help.
Well, you got Timmy Hardaway, who
True. And I think
So-
he's the second best player on that team,
Yeah, for
honestly. If you
Okay.
look at just stats and production.
There's a strong case for that.
Put your big old self underneath the basket.
Right? 7-3?
but I think he should. I think because I heard his grumbling after the game a couple
Yeah.
times. I mean, I think he should have got a little more love for
Man,
sure.
true.
And I think
Absolutely.
it would have taken some pressure off Luka. And
For sure.
Definitely.
You're right. I mean, we'll see how that storyline manifests, right? Because ran some random trade or something. You
Warriors
never
will
know.
take him.
Oh yeah, it would.
Lakers will take him.
So I want to get back to AAU, right? July's coming up. Live period events, high level tournaments are kicking back. Obviously, it seems the country. I mean, California, I feel like was the last state to figure it out, but the country's opened up. I'm looking forward to it. For me, got a really good month planned out. I'm going to be all over the place. LA, the Bay Area, Arizona, Vegas. Vegas is always a really good one, Bigfoot, and even potentially Chicago. That might be the furthest I go. So what about you, Mark? What you got planned?
Well, I was going to ask you, because like I said, it's going to be my first summer, and I ain't trying to do all that. But
I've been
say,
doing
I
this a
don't miss
long
that.
time.
yeah, like I'm more focused just on the development side. But for you, so what is it? So I'm assuming with July, is it basically every weekend?
So
I'm assuming.
So the way it works, and it's good you asked that because there might be some people that are wondering how does this all work. So there's 2 weekends. You have to think NCAA, or you have to think Division I, Division II, Division III. So the live period is mainly for Division I in terms of when they say live period. What they're basically saying is these are select weekends. Those Division I's can go to events, go look at kids, get information, potentially talk to coaches without, getting in trouble, right? So the weekend, there's 2 weekends in July. One is July 8th through the 11th. The other one is the 21st through the 25th. Division II has the entire month. They can talk all of July.
Yeah.
They can say what's up, watch the kids, whatever. Division III and NAIAs basically have no fucking rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say all
Yeah.
year.
They have all
period
year.
Is all year.
Yeah, viewing period. JCs, it's shit. It's the Wild West. It's all year for those three.
Yeah.
And obviously Division III is mainly high academic, so they don't necessarily have athletic scholarships, but they find ways to get you money. You know what I mean? But most of those kids, like a Milo on my AAU team. Milo has a 4.3 GPA, takes college classes, and he's like, his IQ is like ridiculous. He's like clinically a genius. So, and his dream school is it's an engineering school in LA. Is it?
Tet just told me.
It's
Tech? No.
something tech. It is
Yeah.
something. I don't know why. It's not like LA Tech, but it's something.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it's
LA
but it
Tech.
is something
yeah.
like. But basically, it's a super high level engineering school. He's gonna go there because he's essentially a Division II player. He'll probably go there, kill it, be an All-American in Division III, and be set for life. He's gonna win in life.
Yeah.
Like
That's the end goal.
yeah, he's who cares if he's
Yeah.
at Division II? He's gonna win in fucking life. He's gonna be some Division I athlete's boss eventually. Like that's basically so there are kids like that. But think of it like that. Those 2 weekends are basically dedicated for Division I, Division II, and III, and NAIs pretty much can do all of July. So, but yes, to answer your question, the month of July is basically where colleges are going to be at these larger events. Now, distinguishing which ones are the real events they're going to be at, because if you talk to any director, the director of Bigfoot, the director of Hoop Source, the director of Prep Hoops, the director of whatever, West Coast League, they're all going to tell you the same thing. Oh, yeah, I got colleges coming. Oh, yeah, colleges are coming. Yeah, colleges. Yeah, no, plenty of colleges. Oh, Chris, trust me, they're all coming. So you can't really believe them. Like, they're not going to necessarily tell you the truth. I've never had a director say, oh, yeah, no colleges are going to be here, bro. You should go somewhere else. I've never had that. So, you kind of have to decide and distinguish which is which. And it is kind of a roll of the dice, man. It's kind of a gamble. Yeah, but you do look at the history of some of these directors' programs. Like Bigfoot is obviously a big one that's been around for, I believe, at least 20 years. And they're pretty consistent. They're the equivalent of Peach Jam, right, in the West Coast. But, Peach Jam, which is exclusively for Nike EYBL, Bigfoot's open to everybody. And I've seen teams from all over the world. I remember a team that came from France, and they had like 4 7-footers, and it was crazy. And they ended up losing in the semifinals.
Wow.
I was like, who the fuck beat that team? Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, but that's the Bigfoot's a really big one, and it's really fun too.
So for you, going into July, so are you basically going to every weekend?
Every weekend.
Okay.
Every weekend, bro.
Okay.
Every weekend we're doing something, and every weekend is me. See, like I told you before, and I think I've talked about it on the show before, and Julz, I think you can attest to kind of this stuff too. Coaching is the easiest part for me at this juncture, right? Because I have to come up with a schedule, talk to the parents about pricing, because plenty of them are going to bitch about it, which we'll talk more about later in the show. I got to talk to college coaches, right? Especially because I'm an assistant coach at American River College. I can kind of use that as a free pass to go sit with college coaches and talk, you know what I mean? So I'm doing a lot of networking in those weekends. The easy part is when I'm just coaching the game, because I'm just focus on the game. As soon as it ends, I'm looking at my text messages, hey, Chris, who was such and such? Who was such and such? You're doing a lot of outside work and logistics. That's why it's great if you can have like an assistant coach or someone who can help you with that. Yeah. But realistically, most won't do that because they're not dedicated to doing that. There's some coaches in this AAU stuff that are here just for the clout and just for the, I want to, peach jam, I want Bigfoot, and that's all they care about. Yeah. And for me, it's more I'm investing in my kids. I can go to Bigfoot. We could go 0-4, but if out of my 10 kids, 8 of them got college offers, we won. In my opinion, you know what I mean? The competitor in me doesn't want to lose, of course.
That's always the hard
right? That's the competitor in me never wants to fucking lose. But if I walked away and, each one of my kids came away with 2 to 3 offers and some colleges hitting me up about them, that's a win for me. I have to always remember and remind myself that on the 12-hour drive home. Shit. So,
I don't miss that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's funny that you say, because that is exactly what I'm fucking working on. I swear to God. Because like I said, so with the AAU stuff, for me, what I do, I just started doing the AAU. I use it more for like a training tool.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not really all into the AAU stuff either. I don't even like the coaching. That's why I got assistant coaches to help me with that. But for me, because I'm with my kids all the time with the training, again, I'm big with the mental, I know what AAU does for the recruiting side of it. But for me, is trying to use that AAU stuff is what we work on in the lab. These AAU games is basically practice for me, for you guys. But the thing is, as you said, as a competitor, because this past weekend we went 0-3. Against some trash teams.
Hold on, what'd you say?
I won't lie. We went 0-3 against some trash teams. You know what I'm saying? And I've been picky about what tournaments. We've been doing a lot of local stuff because I'm looking at it as a development thing. I'm not trying to put us in no Oakland Soldier thing right now. I've been telling my kids, if you guys can't beat these local teams, there's no point. And
you got to work your way up.
If we're not working on the things that we've been doing and you're not doing it in the games. So that's been hard for me lately just because, from a development point, all right, this is the development side. But as a competitor, I'm like, damn, bro, how are we now at least win one game? And then trying to talk to them, and it's back to the lab, So that's for me, that's the tough part because I can understand if I wasn't doing the AAU stuff, I'm just working with them in the lab, knowing they're playing with other AAU coaches, they're going with their high school teams, so I can just watch from afar. But to me, I don't know. Like I said, I like the AAU stuff because I see the politics when I have a kid that goes to a high school, they don't use them right, the politics, the favoritism. But then, okay, let's play on this tournament. Mm-hmm. They use you in the post. We've been working on the handle and the jumper, and they're a whole different person. They're confident. They go back. So that's kind of how I kind of use it. But then again, is like I said, as a former player, I hate losing. So that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. How do I get that balance? So, and I know you guys have been doing it longer.
Yeah, well, she's coached at the collegiate level.
Keeps the purpose above the win. That's how I took it with AAU. I think it's tough because we had 2 practices a week, and you get them. I told my kids after high school, take 4 weeks off. Mm-hmm. Just don't pick up a ball.
I like that.
Your body needs it, especially females. They just they're so injury prone. But I took my L's early, and came July. For me as a coach, when I would go recruit, I walk into a gym and it would take me all of 4 or 5 possessions to go, that kid can play. Now it's everything else that you're looking at. How do they talk to their teammates? What happens when they turn it over, or block, so on and so forth. What do their feet look like? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we preach and we talk about it on the show all the time how body language is important and being a good teammate is important. But they, when you talk to the kids or parents, they think you don't know what the fuck you talk about. You just saying that no.
It's so easy to spot talent. You've seen so many games. And especially if wherever you're coming from, what system you're running. And so I would take my L's early and continue to do what's right because my AU teams we took L's in spring, and I'm like, right, but 5 in 5 out, I played every kid. And then come July, I was like, we won national tournaments, and we were in
Nice.
Chicago. I
Nice.
mean, that was like,
Yeah, Chicago's big on the women's side too. I've been there. I was there as a guest, but I saw it. It's huge out there. Like Chicago.
man, that's money.
Yeah, yeah, Chicago.
But yeah, every Division I school in the country's there.
Yeah.
And high majority at the Division II. But, you know, I think at the Division I level, you know, they recruit 4 years out.
Yeah.
You know, so they're looking at, what are we, 2025s.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
You know, unless a kid falls off or a kid transfers and now they got to fill a hole. But that's how far ahead. And I'm sure, especially on the men's side,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more competitive on the women's side.
Can a school take an offer back from a kid?
Sure.
They can do that?
Absolutely.
Not if they've signed their NLI. I think that's the binding contract for that 1 year.
Okay.
They get it's a year to year. So don't
Yeah.
think now. Do I think colleges should be yanking scholarships? No, unless
Yeah.
the kid completely just
Screws up, man.
yeah. But
So that is a possibility. Like if a kid who's supposed to finish high school in 2023, but already has an offer, just an offer, no verbal, no nothing, but they can take that away.
an offer is
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Okay.
I mean, you have to remember, we talked about it with Tet, funny, but remember, there's levels to this, right? An offer is, so like when, and this is kind of why I hate social media a little bit, because
Kinda.
I guess, you know, like, okay, they'll take a kid, I won't say names, but
Sure.
they'll take a kid, freshman kid, right? Well, I could say one because I love her to death and I train her anyway. Harper, right? Harper's a girl in our club who we
Yeah.
think, well, you know Harper.
I know
we
Harper.
we see the potential, no doubt. She's got an offer from Cal, an offer from Arizona.
Hey.
It was, I think, Stanford. No, I could be
I
wrong.
remember because she plays for Team
Yeah,
Kid,
yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
Team Kid. But she plays for Jason Kidd's program.
Nice.
So let's make it clear what this offer is. Basically, the head coach have said to her, hey, when you're a junior, you're ready to sign, we got a spot for you. That's an offer. That's an offer.
No.
Is it binding? Is it contractually like you have to do this? No, absolutely not. Because even after you get that offer, this is what players and especially boys fuck up.
Social media.
Yeah, exactly. When you get those offers, you post it on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You want to market yourself, fine. But then they stop communicating with those coaches. They just post that because the assistant coach at, let's just say Cal. The assistant coach at Cal saw you at a tournament, at a West Coast Elite tournament, said, man, I really like you. We got a spot for you when you become a junior. So you immediately make the little graphic, post it, and you're right. You did get an offer. But then you stop talking to him for the next 2 years. You're not calling this guy. You're not maintaining that relationship. Do you think they're still fixated on you? Now, again, there's the exceptions. There are outliers. Let's make this clear, people. I'm not talking about the top 20 ESPN
Right.
recruits who could potentially go to the G League, who are NBA projected. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the normal high-level athletes, not the exceptional high-level athletes. I
Right.
want to make that clear because some people will disagree with what I'm saying. I'm talking about the exceptional athletes who could play at a Cal or somewhere like there, but they don't maintain that relationship. So as they're not maintaining that relationship, those coaches are looking at other players. Those coaches are looking at other players around the country, and those coaches will see the guys who are serious and still calling the coach, hey, coach, I'm working on this. Hey, just giving you an update, man. I'm going into my sophomore year. I'm working really hard. Hey, it's my big summer. Here's my AAU schedule if you want to check me out. Those are the type of guys they're going to look at and say, okay, this kid's serious about my program. I'm going to really see his progression. Then that's when they potentially will sign their letter of intent, and then that's when it's binding.
Okay.
But the offer portion is basically, I'm a head coach. I look at you as a player. I say, hey, man, I really like you. I got a spot for you when you're a junior. I got a spot for you come next year. That is an offer, but there's nothing binding to it. It's just me.
Or a kid gets the offer and then posts something they shouldn't on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, it's just it's so easy, unfortunately, to get it yanked.
Yeah.
You know, they don't think you're good for the look or the program.
That's
or this
another
or
big
that.
thing. I'm
It's
glad you brought that
just-
up, especially for these kids to hear. You know, if you are lucky enough to get an offer early, you really need to reflect and take a clean look at your social media.
And your Finstas ain't private,
Yeah.
as we have found out with the internet.
Right.
Ain't nothing private
Exactly.
these days.
You need to be very mindful of what you're posting on your stories, what you're doing, because at the end of the day, yes, they're kids. You're 16. You want to have some fun. I get it. Just don't record it.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can give you.
Like LeBron's son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't record it. This thing called the internet. It's not the Matrix. It's it has effects in the real world. So, you know, that's the one thing I would say amongst the age group in this room that differs from the age group now. All the dumb shit we did wasn't recorded.
You know, I got like, you know, the real pictures of it.
Right,
They go
right,
nowhere
yeah,
else.
exactly. So you know that, but hopefully that gives you all the information.
Or
and
they get
knowledge.
injured.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes.
Or the coach leaves the school.
Exactly.
That
Or
happened
the
with
coach
my little
leaves.
brother in baseball
Yep.
with a couple coaches.
Yeah. So you know, there's variables to it, man. But is the offer in terms of, I'm not negating it. Like if a coach is saying, "Hey, man, we like you," is that not legit? No, it is legit, but there is intangibles to it. It's not just, oh, we got the spot and we're waiting 3 years for you.
Right.
Like, no, dude, you have to. You have to
Cop
put
you
your
a
best foot
sweatshirt
forward.
and
Yeah,
start wearing that
exactly.
Sweatshirt in your store. Send a couple DMs.
Those portraits.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You gotta do
Your
something, man.
reels.
But so I wanted to talk about open runs.
Yeah.
That's kind of becoming more and more of a thing. You know, I don't know if you
great.
guys notice. Exactly, that's what I was saying. It's actually a really positive thing. Tom Tran does his thing with Jay Baines, and they're doing their open runs and getting a lot of high level guys. Obviously, Ted's doing his thing. I do my open runs, which is just open to the public. I think 24-hour fitness and CalFit's starting to open up again. So
My partners down in LA been going crazy with the women's run.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nice,
Gosh,
nice.
It's been crazy down there.
So I just think it's pretty cool. I just wanted to talk about that on the show, but I think it's pretty cool having that sense of normalcy again.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? One thing I was even looking at too, kind of I guess another pseudo beneficial side of COVID, because it forced guys to go outside. So
Yeah.
street ball has become kind of popular
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean? I know our era it was huge.
Hoop
but
it up.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean,
Hoop it up and one.
and one, yeah.
Like it is kind of nice to see that again.
Yeah.
Because I've driven by like Maidu Park over in Rockland, and there's people out there actually hooping
Yeah.
and stuff now. And I don't know in your guys' area, but it looks like you got guys
I've
running.
been
And
outside. I want to be back in the gym. I've been outside the whole pandemic.
That's true.
I'm
That's
ready
true.
to be back in the gym next year.
But it's nice to have the option of both.
For sure. I don't know, but I've been getting burnt outside. So.
It's nice for these kids to, I think, not not that they're spoiled, but not be like, oh, I can't work out because I don't have a gym.
Yeah.
You know, you
for
just,
sure.
you're like, okay, guess you know, that's,
Good luck.
but yeah, right.
Right. Just punch the kid in the face when he says that. I had to add that.
You're not a real hooper.
That's-
You're not a real
all
hooper.
right. I wasn't gonna say it, but
Right,
it's
I'm
just
gonna-
like,
You
man,
ain't a real
Every time I hear a kid like I can't do it outside,
bring
or I
hoop
can't,
it
I
up
just
back where there's
let's punch him in the
gravel
face.
on the
Yeah,
courts.
exactly.
You know,
I've gotten parents who are like, how much more longer are you going to be outside? I'm like, what the hell? Like,
punch him in the face. That's what I'm saying.
I was all right.
That's like,
I don't
that's
wanna
how
train.
every
Yeah,
single time.
exactly.
There's a lot of 3-on-3s about to go on too.
Yeah.
So that's another update. I've noticed there's going to be a 3-on-3 at the grounds. I think they're doing. There's some 3-on-3s going on in the Bay. So it seems like people are bringing 3-on-3 culture
yeah,
back too.
the Legend Gym I saw.
Yeah,
female
with
hoopers,
Tabitha and them. Shout out to
Yep.
Tabitha.
Yep.
I definitely want to get her and Janae.
Yeah.
They said they want to do the show, so splash for you too, because I'm trying to get them on the show more. I like that. I like that the basketball culture's
I
getting
think
better.
this is my thought with the 3-on-3 stuff, and I've talked to Ted about this, so maybe someone will steal my idea, but in terms of development, right, you get kids, you train, and I'm sure maybe you've experienced this, right, and then you go put them on 5-on-5 situations, and it's like, you know, what do we just work on, you know?
Sure.
So having that 3-on-3 league,
Yes.
You know, because every kid is going to get more touches. Every kid's
Yeah.
going to go put in the scenarios. And I think they just develop quicker, you know.
3-on-3.
Yeah, just having 3-on-3 leagues,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
for
half
sure.
court, things of
I
that
think that would be a
nature.
good idea.
Especially younger,
Right.
you know, as they develop. So.
Well, because I think we all can agree to this and attest to this too. You know, half court basketball is IQ basketball, right? It negates the athleticism. It
Right.
negates because fast break basketball is athletes, right? That's the athleticism kicking in, which no knock to it, but you want your kids to develop IQ. So I think 3-on-3s and is an easy way to do it,
Yeah.
right? And then also expose your shitty defenders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if you can't play defense, it gets exposed because they gonna keep running pick and roll action on your ass. Like, pick and roll, here he is again. Like we're gonna make you a welcome mat, right?
Yeah.
So I like 3-on-3 culture. I think, but again, it could be a reflection on why we look at the game the way we look at it. You know what I mean? So I want to do some quick shout outs for some of our Patreon members. They appreciate you guys. Like I said, shout out on the show. I'll use your Patreon names. I don't want to use your government names, so make sure you guys are the Kimberly Hope. Appreciate you and all you've done for supporting us. Dell, love you to death. Appreciate you helping the show out. Definitely. Who else? Let me get everybody. M. Golada. That's he's the director and head coach for Control Chaos. That's my boy Martel. Good coach, good dude, really passionate. Definitely yells at the kids like me, so I'm a fan. Matt Johnson, my boy Matt Johnson. Appreciate you, man. He's always been big supportive, good hooper, great hoop background, so appreciate you supporting as well. And let me see. I think I have one more on the list. Not the Seth Stokes last episode. Love to Ball 33. So I don't even know who that is, but I appreciate you.
We love you too.
For real. Appreciate you supporting the show and helping us out. With all that being said, I'm just happy to be back. Happy to see you guys. Happy to see you, Ty, Mark, and Julz. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Mark, you got anything left?
No. It was nice meeting you.
You as well.
I actually have some questions to ask you after the show about the Drew Hanlon thing because I'm curious as well.
Yeah, that's Mark's guy right there.
For real. Ty, now that we've given you a mic, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, you know I got a shameless plug now. So, Ty McClarty photo, Ty McClarty video.
Hey.
If you need senior pictures, graduation pictures, basketball pictures, football pictures. Mark, I got to show you, just did Marcus Jelpe's highlight.
Hey.
Shout out Marcus Jelpe. He was on our show. National champ Puerto Rico
Yes,
just
sir.
did his highlight video.
#1 high jumper in the
Man,
U.S.
whatever you need, holla at me. Time Machine Graphics, I do all that stuff. Whatever you need, let me know.
And
Thanks for giving me a mic, man.
And the man, of course, brother. We keep trying to add to the show, man. You a big piece of this, man.
I'll talk about it.
No, he does great work. Obviously, if you've seen the YouTube, if you've seen the stuff he does, the photos, everything is great work, man. Please hit him up. Please support him. Brother is very passionate about what he's doing. You got your other baby coming soon too.
Oh
Right?
man, yeah, got my second son on the way.
Hey.
2 boys back to back. Oh man, yeah.
So you're gonna have some
September.
sleepless nights, brother.
Yeah, they're already sleepless. Just adding another cog to the wheel of the day.
Nice, brother. Nice. Julz, again, thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
I really appreciate you. We got, just so you guys listen, I'm gonna have social media links linked to her Instagram. She's doing a podcast herself. I definitely tell you guys, check it out, man. I love the positive stuff you post all the time, like the different quotes and stuff. I'm a fan. I see the Instagram. No, definitely check her out. She's good people. She loves basketball. She loves the program. Mark, you got any last words?
No, man. Let the summer begin.
Yeah, man. Everybody be safe out there. We know, COVID. We're getting through it. Everything's opening up. July's kicking around. Athletes, be safe. Take care of your bodies. That's going to be a big month for some of you guys, and there's going to be a lot of scholarships to throw out there. I know that because colleges are looking, and we'll keep progressing from there. Everybody be safe. Enjoy your nights. Enjoy your summer. And we'll catch you next time. And we are out. Hey, you reached the end of the video. Thanks for getting here, because we know some of these episodes can be pretty long. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button.
And don't forget to check into the next episode.
All right, make sure to hit that follow too. I'm Coach C.Collins.
And I'm Coach MJ.
And we appreciate you. I know we've been getting a lot of feedback from our social media. The social media posts will be down in the links as well. So we appreciate anybody who's been out there supporting, and we want to just keep this thing going.